Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're taking a look at this Gardevoir list that I used and played in the Fresno Regional Championships with, and I did end up winning that tournament with this deck list, so I want to go over it on my matchups on the days, and kind of why I decided to play some of the cards that I did and not play some of the cards I did, because there are reasons for them, and there's probably a couple things you're just looking at this right now. They're like, what, huh? So yeah, we're going to go over that, my decisions there. And yeah, this is also part of the reason why I have not been uploading very much. I think my last video was like a month and a half ago now, something like that. It's because I've been focusing a lot on regionals and playing competitive, because I did have both Portland Regionals and Fresno Regionals in this format. So I just kind of grounded this format a little bit. And yeah, and here we are. I won Fresno with this Gardevoir list. And so yeah, let's just first go over the actual deck list itself. Starting off with the weirdest thing, that is actually both. I played both the Seal Stones, and these are both of them do their own use cases. Sky Seal is pretty good versus Lugia, Mew, and random Arceus decks. Specifically the random Arceus decks because I think some seniors do just play random Arceus decks. Like I literally hit a Arceus Tapu Koko in the tournament. And Seal Stone is really good against random Arceus decks. So that's one really big reason I think to play this guy Seal Stone still is for the random Arceus decks. But then for Seal Stone also is just obviously super strong, search your deck for any card. That's particularly strong against Lost Box because Zacian is one of your best attackers in that matchup because it does not put any of your draw in jeopardy, such as a Kirlia getting knocked out or a Gardevoir getting knocked out. Zacian is a kind of like risk-free attacker that can take a hit usually. And also, if your opponent is choosing to Lost Mine, target down a Kirlia, you can just, if you find this Forest Seal Stone, it can get any card you need without having to draw into it because all your Kirlias are dead, which is pretty handy. So both of those are pretty good. And I did use Forest Seal a pretty good amount in the non-Lost Box matches, of course, just because sometimes you draw awkward, you don't have time to attach Sky Seal. Or sometimes you just really need to make a game swinging play, and Forest Seal Stone lets you get there. And that's what that is pretty good for. And yeah, and then also the other big uninclusion, I guess, is three research and no Lumineon. And that is something that has become a standard in a lot of Gardevoir lists is the Lumineon with either between 3 or 4 research. Henry and Jake, their list that Henry won with, did play 2 research and Lumineon. But I had been thinking this for a while. When I first started playing Gardevoir all the way back at the start of this format, literally I got second at a 1K with Gardevoir, one of the first Scarlet Violet tournaments I played in with Gardevoir. I got second with it, and I didn't play Lumineon, and I never really did play Lumineon until I picked up Henry's list. And it was okay. Lumineon is definitely good. However, I just the deck functions perfectly fine without it. You can just draw into the research a decent amount of the time, and you'll be completely fine. So that is why I did not play Lumineon. I really haven't felt like it's been needed for a while in Gardevoir. And yeah, so I just cut that and I added the 3rd research because 2 research felt so risky. Research is just so good to play sometimes. You're just just get 7 new cards with Gardevoir. It's oh my god, 7 new cards plus your refinements plus your concealed cards. Research is just so good in this deck. And I really just think that you should be playing 3+ copies of them. Yeah, no Lumineon, and I cut that for the 3rd research as well. And the rest of it is the same as Henry's lists. We got the 3-1 Teleportation Burst Memory Skip split of the Ralts. Of course, for Refinement Curly, that card's just really good. And 2 Gardevoir, 1 Baby Gardevoir, which is one other thing that's what the second Baby Gardevoir is what I did cut for the Sky Seal Stone. And honestly, it felt fine. Baby Gardevoir is good, but you have Miriam to get it back. And Zacian, you play 2 of them. Zacian's just such a strong attacker. Anyway, you don't need to be attacking with a Baby Gardevoir every single game. Obviously, it's still good, so we still want to play it, but I don't think we really need to that much, so I just ended up cutting that for the Sky Seal Stone. 2 Zacian, of course, that card's broken, just one-shotting everything, and over the sword, setting up your board early turns in the right matchups. Note, if you're playing Gardevoir, And in this Pal Day Evolve format too, do not. I see so many Gardevoir players do this. It makes me lose brain cells. Do not bench Zacian turn 1 in every single game. Do not do it. You don't need to. Argus deck is usually pretty bad. Like they just have such an easy time gusting that thing up and just hitting it for 180, and they're just kind of like screwed because their Zacian has 180 on it, and like it's basically useless now. Especially in this current format with Umbreon playing Alakazam, they can just hit it for 180 and then like Alakazam KO it later. Like it's really bad. Do not bench Zacian turn 1 in every single matchup. Lost Box, most Lost Box matchups, yes. If you want to develop a Zacian by turn 2 attacking, that's usually pretty good because Cram's going to be killing things early. Zacian kills the Cram, etc. But against like Arceus decks, especially also Mew, do not bench Zacian. Do not, unless you have to force Seal Stone to get into the game, like with the VIP Pass. Do not bench Zacian in every single matchup. It is terrible. Do not do it. Then we have Manaphy. Obviously, this card is just like really needed. Cresselia, once again, this card is just like really good. Not only against Lost Box, it is a game-winning card against Lost Box. I did have an opponent where literally like during game 2, I just benched Cresselia and he scooped. Like that's card like because like that's just how much I can swing the game for you. Roxanne plus Cresselia is really, really good versus Lost Box as well. Lost Box is extremely beatable. I'll just like kind of leak the matchups though. I faced 3 Lost Box throughout the day, and I tied 1 and 2-0 the other 2. So yeah, I went 5-1-1 against Lost Box on the day in games. That matchup is extremely winnable, especially if the Lost Box player is going to be not a world-class Lost Box player. If you're not playing against Azul or Caleb or Grant, who have literally hundreds of games in Lost Box and have played the countless tournaments, then if you know Gardevoir really, really well, you're going to be able to beat that matchup a good percentage of the time. Gardevoir is without a doubt that deck I know the best, and I just like kind of just like creamed a lot of the Lost Boxes I played against. So yeah, Cresselia, really, really good. Also, it's pretty good against Fusion Mew too. You can snipe killing Meloetas to remove that usually Fusion Energy from play and the actual attack Melodious Echo. Lunar Blast can also get in there. Lunar Blast 140 with the Choice Belt, and then a Miracle Force KOs Mew VMAX. Lunar Blast on its own just kills Meloetta. Doesn't kill Deoxys. That would be pretty good if Lunar Blast also did 120, so you could kill Deoxys. That'd be like really, really good versus Fusion Mew. But having a basic one-price attacker against Fusion Mew is really, really important. And Cresselia just has a lot of really cool uses in that matchup that make it pretty, pretty solid. Mew, Mysterious Tail is just like good, like trending to that thing turn 1. It's always amazing. You want to getting that for the VIP passes. Like if you're going first, if you like start Mew or you get to retreat into Mew, and you can like find a VIP pass and then next turn find a level ball, like that card just gives you so much value. Mew is super duper strong, and then of course Radiant Greninja for discarding those energies. Obviously just broken. Radiant Greninja is really, really good. 3 research, obviously. Penny. Not only does it like help you against weird Mawile things that everyone's trying to do that again, but also you can return Cresselia to your hand to reset it after a Cram hit to do even more annoying sniping and removing damage from play. You can Penny a Zacian to take a hit for like a free turn essentially. You can also like Penny a Manaphy that has damage on it that is setting up for a knockout, etc. Penny is super strong. You can like if you like prize Manaphy and then you need it later and you take it as a prize, you can Penny up like a Greninja and then place the Manaphy down. Penny is pretty cool. Really, really good card. Miriam, obviously shuffling back your Pokemon to the deck when you only play 1 Gardevoir. Baby, that's even more important. Worker, Path Counter, Draw 3. Draw 3 is like unironically pretty solid in this deck. When we have just Kirlia, just go draw even more. Roxanne, broken card, really good versus Lost Box, pretty good versus Lugia. Roxanne, Temple of Sinnoh makes almost any Lugia matchup winnable. As long as you can afford to get a little lucky at the end of the game, they don't draw out the Roxanne Sinnoh. One copy of Judge to just be a little bit more annoying versus Lost Box. Like if you're going first and you get the turn 1 Zacian with 2 energy, and then the next turn you can attach to it, and then start Storm Slashing because they knocked out your guy with Cram. Like Judge and then Storm Slash turn 2 on 2 Cram is a pretty good response to a aggressive start like that from a Lost Box. And the Serena boss obviously just really good gusting cards. Then we have our items, which are pretty unchanged. I think this is actually the exact lineup Tord played, and of course the exact lineup that Henry played was the 4 Level Ball, 4 VIP, 3 Ultra, 3 Fog. Really nothing to say there. This is just the best item lineup that I think we have. 2 Rare Candy. And when I actually first started playing Gardevoir, I was playing 3 Candy, like the way I started this format, like a while ago, like a month and a half ago now. And man, during this tournament and like just playing Gardevoir in general, you get the turn 2 Candy Gardevoir EX pretty often. Like you have Mew to dig for it. Of course, you have Research and Refinement to just like draw through so many cards in your deck. You're going to be hitting a turn 2 Candy Gardevoir a decent amount of the time. And with Choice Belt now in the deck, Miracle Force, if you draw that Choice Belt, can do 220, which is really, really strong versus RKS decks. That's actually how I won the top 4. Was I just went first and got a really aggro Choice Belt Gardevoir EX going. I just took 4 prizes with 1 Gardevoir EX and just won straight up. So yeah, Candy Gardevoir is on turn 2. Is pretty common, and it's something you will be doing. Even turn 2 Zacian KO is not typically unheard of with this deck. Then we have 1 copy of Pal Pad. Obviously, we have like a ton of 1 supporters, so shoving those back is pretty strong. Also, replenishing our deck because we get to the bottom of our deck very quickly with our refinements and our researches. So Pal Pad can just give us an extra 2 cards. Maybe you can put back a Judge or Roxanne to replenish our deck even more. I already talked about Sky Seal Stone Choice Belt. Obviously, like I mentioned, it can make your Gardevoir X hit for 220. It lets a baby Gardevoir that has nothing on it attached at the beginning of your turn actually hit 300 because you can attach basic for turn and then attach Choice Belt, which is essentially like 2 quote unquote energy attachments because that Choice Belt does like count for 30 and then the Brainwave is plus 30. So you can kind of get 2 attachments quote unquote turn 1 or in 1 turn to a baby Gardevoir to make that hit 300. Zacian lets you hit even higher numbers versus Goodra. It lets you hit higher numbers versus Umbreon. That's another reason that Sky Seal Stone's pretty good because then your Arc Umbreon matchup actually is a lot better. It's because you can just 2 attacks, KO Arceus, KO Umbreon VMAX, and that's as long as you use the Sky Seal Stone for one of those KOs, then you win the game. Like I said, random Arceus decks, Sky Seal Stone's really good. We have our stadiums, and this is just kind of like the stadium glam. It's been like the entire format. 1 Temple of Sinnoh, really good versus Lugia, and can be kind of annoying from you sometimes too. Collapsed Stadium can remove Pokemon that have energy from play, so you can accelerate them to a different Pokemon to take a big one shot. It can remove damage Pokemon from play versus Lost Box. It's annoying for Mew to deal with. Collapsed Stadium is just super duper strong. And of course, 11 is Psychic Energies. Never really been a fan of the 12 Psychic Energies, I'm going to be honest. Now we're going to look at my matchups. Starting off with day 1, round 1, I hit Neo Erlandson, and he was playing Fusion Mew. And if you do not know who Neo Erlandson is, he is the number 1 rated senior in US and Canada. He might just be the number 1 rated senior in the world. Neo is extremely good, and I lost at a quick 0-2. Not really much to say. Neo is incredibly good at the game, and he just kind of stomped me. Then round 2, I hit the Lost Zone Box Moltres Kyogre deck that has no multi-prizers, just the Moltres Comfey Cram Sableye Kyogre deck. I lost game 1 because I did have a pretty poor setup. Won game 2, and then what happened was we had like 3 minutes left in the match. He played 2 VIP passes and he got his board set up, and then when he saw me play 2 VIP passes as well, he knew that we were both going to set up and be able to play the game, so he just offered the ID, and I just took it because like we're going to be able to play the game. We were both playing 2 VIP passes in turn 1, so we just took the ID there. But now I'm 0-1-1. You have to be thinking, wow, that is really interesting. Came back from a 0-1-1, but yes, my next games were just kind of like a blur. I don't even remember what happened entirely in some of them. It was just like I was just kind of hunkering down and playing. Round 3, I hit another Fusion Mew. I won that 2-0. Not really to say I'm going to be honest, they were not a very great player. I'm sorry for listening to this, but you have some work to do. So I won that pretty easily 2-0. Then we have a Lost Zone Box Kyogre Dragonite. I'm pretty sure it's just Caleb's 60 from Milwaukee. Won that 2-0. And then I hit Arceus Tapu Koko. I was saying a random Arceus deck. Won that extremely easily 2-0. Like with Sky Seal Stone, that matchup's just pretty good. And as long as you just like hit into a Tapu Koko with the 190 and not KO it, like you're just in such a good spot because they can't paralyze you anymore. And also then they also have to hit into your Gardevoir, or else like they're just going to fall behind anyway. So like you can just kind of like deny them of that paralysis for their turn. We had another Lost Zone Box Kyogre Dragonite, the Caleb Gedimer 60, won that 2-0, and then finally hit Lugia and they had some really rough draws. Like game 1, they tell me like they had to research like all of the remaining attackers and all their earns, so just like had to research all that, and then like they drew nothing and just scooped. And then game 2, they missed 2 Arcaps in the discard pile for like 2 turns, and I was just able to just run them over basically. And yeah, so then I literally, ever since that round 2 where I lost game 1, I did not lose a game the rest of the entire day, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, and then I was 5-1-1, and I did finish 4th seed. I'm going into top 8, which I was just already ecstatic about. Like, this is my last tournament, or a large tournament as a senior, so it's pretty cool to make top 8 there. And then top cuts on Sunday. In top 8, I hit a Lossum Gudra, which can be a little bit scary, but if you draw pretty good, you get Manaphy down, it's not too bad. Sorry for that beeping. We have, so I just beat that 2-0. They did not set up particularly well either, which did not really help them. Then I had Arctur Umbreon. My friend actually lost to them in top 8. Now I facing them in top 4. My friend said that he actually didn't play Hawlucha or Alakazam, which I didn't see at the entire set either, so I don't think they actually did play Hawlucha or Alakazam, which made that matchup a lot easier. In game 1, I just kind of like took my time and developed the Kirlias. They kept dying, like he just kept gusting them, picking them off. But then my terminal turn, I just evolved one of the Gardevoir EX. I accelerated much to a Zacian. And then I smacked the Arceus for 300, knocked it out, and then he just Umbreon'd up my Gardevoir EX, knocked it out, and then I just went attached for turn. So I have 9 energy on Zacian, Sky Seal Stone, used it, and then got a sneaky 4 prizes there off of him. I don't think he's expecting that at all, because in game 2, when we got in that exact situation where he had been picking off my Kirlias the whole game, I had my Gardevoir, one Gardevoir EX on the bench with the Zacian with 8 energy. He actually attacked with Arceus instead of Umbreon, and just knocked out the Zacian, along with a Judge, just make things a lot harder, because then I had to draw a Gust, Zacian, Sky Seal, and Energy out of Judge, which is not terribly unlikely. However, I did unfortunately miss. I just had a Roxanne, pray that he didn't have it. He didn't have it, and then the next turn I had to hit it, and the last 3 cards in my deck were Serena, Boss, and Sky Seal Stone. After refinements, after concealed cards, literally the last 3 cards in my deck were the last 3 cards, or some of the only cards I needed to win the game were the last 3 cards in my deck. So that was unfortunate. Lost that. Then, like I was saying, in game 3, I just got the turn 2 Gardevoir with the Choice Belt and just kind of took 4 prizes on 2 Arceus fees, and that was just over from there. And now I'm in the finals, which was crazy, especially starting out the tournament 0-1-1. And then in the finals, I hit Fusion Mew. And game 1, what happened in game 1? I can't remember. I think it was just a pretty straightforward game. I used Cresselia to KO the Meloetta, and then I used a Gust to KO Genesect, and then because they had been discarding the Power Tablets the whole game, I don't think they had enough firepower to one-shot my Gardevoir, so like the game was just over. I just used Zacian and took the game on the Mew VMAX. And then in game 2, things were going pretty well. He was not drawing extremely well. I got a pretty nice turn 2 Gardevoir KO on a Mew V, which you love to see that, missing the Mew VMAX. And then the next turn after that, I drew for turn, then I immediately played Worker, discarded Lost City, and then drew 3 cards. And then did my turn refining, and then I played Research because I forgot that I played the Worker. And so I just played Research. I played my turn, and the judge was like, wait, where did the Lost City go? And then I realized that I accidentally double supported. Luckily, though, we were able to work it out. I only got double prize penalty except for game loss because it was reversible, which is pretty relieving. But I still managed to win that game. The only reason my opponent had 3 prizes, I was on 2 prizes, I think. No, I was on 3 prizes and a Mew V. We were both on 3 prizes, and then you also had a Mew VX with 190 on it from a Gardevoir. So, basically just like I Pal Padded both my Gusts back in, and basically I just have to hit it next turn. If I don't, then I lose. And the only reason that I would lose that game is because of the double prize penalty. Like if that didn't happen, I was just still in that game for sure. But still managed to pull it out, and then I won the tournament, which is kind of crazy. And that's gonna be my tournament report on Fresno Regional. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully, like I mentioned, I'll get back to creating more content soon here. We got the new Obsidian Flames, that was called, set. We've got some cards from that. We have How They Evolve coming out. I've been playing with that on PTG a little bit today. But yeah, that's good for do it for the video, guys. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.